it early? That doesn't matter. um, did everyone look at their minutes?
Yes. I have two corrections.
Okay.
Under attendance, Barry's last name is spelled Bell.
I missed that.
And in a similar vein, second page, the block that is in all caps, last word in the second line, pollution also has two L's.
Yes.
So
And
those are my corrections.
also, Diane Lauricella is missing an A, second letter in Lauricella, as opposed to Lauricella. That's all I found. So now we all in favor of approving of the minutes. Oh wait,
So we have to move first.
Motion, yes.
I
Okay.
move that we accept the minutes as amended.
And who would like?
Second it.
Oh, second. Okay, all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Do we have any public participants? It doesn't look like we do.
Hi, Diane.
So
Hi.
to reports from boards. Norwalk Historical Society, starring Diane Gilleret.
Good evening, everyone. Let's see. For July, we had a wonderful 4th of July presentation, and I want to thank our town clerk, Rick McQuaid, for doing a wonderful talk on the reading of the Declaration of Independence. It's always great to have a reminder of where we started from. And I thank the mayor and Senator Bob Duff for giving remarks. And so it was great to start off our 4th of July with such with the bell ringing that we are doing every year. So what we're doing right now is actually getting ready for August 20th, which is on Tuesday, for the visit from the Marquis de Lafayette on his farewell tour. This is a bicentennial tour, farewell to the nation. And he made a stop in Norwalk on August 20th, and we are having a opening exhibit and a reception on that day. And Lafayette's going to visit us. There will be other living history visitors, along with the Second Continental will be with us. And we also have a visit from Captain Stephen Betts. We just found out that he will be visiting and saying welcome, as he had done 200 years ago. The children of the American Revolution will also being welcoming of Lafayette into Mill Hill. So we'll be gathering at Mill Hill at 6:30, welcoming Lafayette at 7, and then proceed with the program. And as I said, it's an opening exhibit. It's a reception. It is free and open to the public. There are opportunities for photo ops for that particular event. So everybody's getting very excited about the start of this farewell tour. Before that, he will be coming in through Greenwich, and New York is going to be the first stop. And they're doing a whole big thing in New York, and then coming into Connecticut and making a tour. So please, everyone, if you can possibly come, please come and join us. And we also will have two objects on display, and they were souvenir objects. One is a redware plate that says Lafayette and Washington, and another that we found in the collection that was specifically designed is a porcelain bowl for the Lafayette Farewell Tour 1824-1825. So we're very excited to have found that in the collection, and you can see it. Next up, we'll be going into September, and we will have another Night at the Museum concert. And it will be on Thursday, September 21st. And we actually put in a rain date this time for Friday, because the last couple of times it has actually rained on the actual day. So we'll be congregating at the Norwalk Historical Society Museum at 6:30. And we're working with building community through music. So stay tuned who the music entertainment will be. We will also have a talk on Lafayette. We're looking at Sunday, an in-person talk at Mill Hill on Sunday, the 15th. And it will be Dr. Iris DeRode. Thank you, Eric. She is wonderful. And she will probably be coming on that Sunday afternoon to talk about, she's done research and presenting her research on Lafayette and the other Frenchmen who helped America get their independence.
Right.
So
And is that July, August or September?
that's in September 15th, Sunday afternoon.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Diane, when is the concert?
The concert is Thursday, September 15th, September 21st, sorry.
The 21st is a Saturday.
Sorry, Thursday, September 19th.
Thank you. Okay.
And the rain date is the 20th, is the next day, if it rains. And then we're probably going to put in one other lecture, but I have to firm that up for September. And that will probably be on Zoom. So stay tuned for that. And then we're doing an event with the Lockwood Matthews Mansion, as I mentioned last month, Dusty Booze. And that is going to be Thursday, September 26th at Mill Hill. So so I see some stuff has already gone out about that, but that should be fun event. So that's taking us through September right now. So we're working on the rest of the year within the next few weeks. Any questions?
Sounds great. Thanks, Diane. I hope the Marquis brushed up on his English.
He is just ready. Let me tell you, I talked to him.
My French isn't so good. Okay, so next up is Susie.
Hi, Susie.
Where's she hiding?
She's hiding on
She's-
mute.
She's
Oh.
muted.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you all for your support. It's now year 2. We're entering year 2 of the building being closed, and we really couldn't have done this without you. We do have a number of events coming up. One is the flea market, the old-fashioned flea market, which we'll be holding on September 15 during the day 10 to 4, and it's at Matthews Park. Flea market enthusiasts will find the park really filled with vendors. We have a lot of vendors that have signed up. And also we'll have tasty treats and refreshments at several food trucks. Volunteers will manage our white elephant table and also a gift shop corner. In September, also a great big thank you to Diane and the Norwalk Historical Society for participating with us on a talk, book signing, and tasting with award-winning author Aaron Goldfarb, titled, as Diane said, Dusty Booze in Search of Vintage Spirits. And that, of course, will be at Mill Hill, and it's at 6 p.m. This event, we're able to get Sono 1420, America's Maritime Distillery, to join us pro bono to prepare special drinks for us, and Diane Books will be selling the books also if you're interested in purchasing. This event will be followed by our gala, the mansion's costume ball. That's at the Shore and Country Club. And it will be held on October 19. And this event will feature a dance performance by a group from Greenwich called the Dance Point, and a violinist from the Norwalk Symphony, silent and live auctions, and much more. So it's going to be very exciting. And then for December, we have lined up a speaker, Ken Torino, who is a specialist on Christmas and holiday talks, and he will give a talk at City Hall on our behalf on December 5th. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock as well, and I hope to see you there. Any questions? Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I bet Patsy has something. Patsy?
Well,
Or
yeah,
Doug?
yeah, well, we're moving along. It is, as I say, every month it gets more amazing as now we're really putting the building back together. Over the last year or so, we tore it apart, literally and figuratively. So pretty much the flooring on the first and second floors are back in place and now are protected again for the cleanup when that area can get cleaned up. And we're mostly concentrating on the basement. So there was a lot of trenching that was happening there in order to receive all the mechanicals, and flooring for movable archive mechanical shelving that is currently being done. So that pretty soon they're going to start bringing back the slate from the site and putting it back in place in the basement. And the other pieces are more finishing, not final finishing, obviously, but working on the gift shop, the kitchen, the hallway from the gift shop, into the main part of the mansion, and the staff offices in the servants' quarters on the top floor of the servants' quarters. And as you know, and as you helped us to obtain the additional $3 million in the 24-25 budget, that is all that money is going toward what I've just mentioned, these alternates. And we're hoping we get most of the archives finished, but we go ahead with certain sections as we know we have money available. So we're watching the finances very closely. The goal is pretty much the same as last month, which is for the contractors to turn the building over to us mid-December. We anticipate moving back in. It's going to be a 2 to 3 month project timeline. A lot of that will obviously depend on weather and how everything flows. We have, furniture in Long Island and all of our fine arts furniture and crated that has come back on crate, cleaned and put back in place, plus just the items that we use for running programs and the rest. So Susie and Doug and I have been talking about a soft opening in the spring. And it's a moving target right now until we know where we are. So we're trying to do it as soon as we can. And we probably will have a good handle on that at your next month's meeting. Or certainly by September.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric? I thought Eric said.
Oh,
I don't-
I think I just cleared my throat.
Between the two of them, you got a real good big picture of everything. Everybody's been wonderful. I'm constantly impressed. I've done a lot of projects in my life. The amount of detail that has to go into this particular site along with the architects, the engineers and all that, coming up with, you know, building built 100 and some odd years ago and trying to figure out by today's standards, what do you need to do? And they've done a fabulous job. And I thank you guys for all your support. Mr. Frey, for your support for the funding. So that's it.
Okay, great. Thanks all our Lockwood Matthews Mansion people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna leave you because I'm up at the vineyard. I'm gonna go see my sunset.
Okay,
Okay. Bye,
say hi to
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Enjoy
Say hi
the
to
summer.
Martha for us.
Oh, yeah, I
And Tina.
will. Oh, yes, she's coming soon. She's coming soon. Okay, bye, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Next up is reports. Buildings. I need to get in regular touch with Neil from that service. Cemeteries, I haven't walked through recently. In financials, I don't have anything. I guess I need to bug David about that or somehow pass that over to us to have something to report. Any questions from anyone about these topics, buildings, cemeteries, or financials?
None for me.
Okay.
Have there been any other, there were a couple of demos that were out there. Did we? was
Yeah,
there one that we talked
I guess
about?
well, that would be probably under new business.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
next up is old business. Do we have any old business?
Well, I just have a comment on old business.
Okay.
I'd like to congratulate the little guy for winning out over ONG.
Ah, yes. All the little guys.
Hooray for the little guy.
Yep. And yes, I did send a letter. I don't know if I sent it in time, but I guess it's in the record. Now new business. Got the pre-demo for 25 South Main. And I did file a demo load delay for that. It's probably already been a few weeks. I did the same day it came out. So that's, I guess I need to get in touch with the state about that with the groups up there because they were concerned as well about what we can do to preserve that little strip there.
Well, wasn't that most of that rebuilt though? Wasn't a
Well-
lot of that was restoration or not restoration, but yeah, let's call it restoration because it's not new, it's not original construction. The
It's
facade was not anything that was original, was it?
Yeah, it does have some kind of, I was at one of those meetings and what was that guy's name? Wesley, from a historian from Stanford. It is
Right.
not the most wonderful finish on that, but it is built by Brian McMahon's father. And so there is some historical as well as being part of the historical district.
I'm not criticizing, but I'm just saying that because it's built by somebody's father, that doesn't necessarily mean it's
Right.
historical. And I think the other thing was that it's not the original facade. It was
Right.
rebuilt and not even with the same materials. And apparently I thought what I read was, and forgive me because I don't have my notes in front of me, but I thought they said it was not even a real good interpretation of the original facade.
I know that's what the other side was saying a lot of about how it was not worthy, but in our case, we do want to fight as much as we can. Maybe fight's too strong a word, but for keeping the contributing buildings to the Washington Street corridor. So we've already lost for the hotel, and then they want to use the other house, the one next to that, and as well as this for this another project. So it is kind of chipping away at the contributing neighborhood.
Not to
So do we
mention
have
what they did
another,
to-
do we have another expert witness that will talk in opposition of the I guess it was the developer who got the historian from, or maybe, I don't know if he's a historian, but expert from Stanford. There's
Yeah,
somebody else that says, no, he's not right.
it was the fellow from Stanford that kind of surprised them at the last meeting with lots of information about the building. And I know there was another fellow that had been at a previous meeting who was at this meeting as well. I can't recall his name, but they were heavily in favor of having this hotel built. So they're kind of, you know, saying what's wrong with the building instead of what's right with the building, or leaving the building as is, maybe not as is, but standing in that spot.
But so my point is that what is the stance for, what are the attributes for not doing anything to keep it the way it is right now? If it's not the same facade, I'm not quite sure I follow what we can do about it. If, you know, one expert that the developer brings forward says it's not worth anything, but we still think it is worth something, who do we get to tell us that it is? To
We have
make our point.
the
Otherwise,
fel-
we're
yeah.
gonna run out of time anyway.
Yeah. I know the state SHPO office was interested in this, and as well as, I should have brought Todd in tonight, but SHPO and Connecticut Preservation Trust, I need to just check in with them about their opinion on this building and the whole neighborhood, or as well as 31 to 35 South Main, which I guess is, since the time ran out on that, I can't keep sending out the demo delay for that. So
Right.
yeah,
Right,
So
'cause like,
where do we stand on this one now? That it's what, 30 days already?
I think so. I have to check what day I sent that into Bill Ireland.
So we have another 30 days, is it?
It's 120 days altogether, which isn't much. Is that 4 months? No, yeah,
Yeah,
4
it's
months.
4 months.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to add to what Jim's saying, I mean, at the end of the day, we can keep putting these demo delays, but we really need a plan of what we're gonna be doing with these demo delays, because if we can't get an expert to come in and say, hey, this is why it needs to be preserved, or we get Todd and the other preservation trusts to give us the documentation, or we do some more of the research, the demo delays are gonna be moot points at some point, if we
Right.
can't back up anything.
Well,
The other thing
Todd's really turned this one into a slugfest.
Or
Well,
if we
but
could convince the people not to go ahead with this plan.
Or finding some alternative to
Yeah.
preserve some of the original facade in the new plans,
Right,
just to pay homage to at least the original structures.
yeah. So that's 25 South Main. There are another bunch of other things, Boughton
Well, but
Street.
before we go on,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do about this? I mean,
Well, I'm gonna
what's
talk
our
to,
course of action here?
check in with the state people and see what we can do, how we can maybe can sway them. It seems like this guy just wants to put a hotel as sort of almost, I'm reading into this, but despite the other hotel, which he was also involved in, just to have two hotels side by side competing.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, but it's our problem if they just build these hotels and then,
Well, I mean, the irony was the original hotel owner, I mean, Dana, you were at the meeting, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the original hotel owner, you know, they were all set to level these buildings and then he backed out. And then magically, all of a sudden, a new person came in and he found all these historical things to preserve the buildings because he didn't want the competition. But he was all set to knock the buildings down, but then someone else said they wanted to do the same plan. And now all of a sudden it's worth something and he didn't want to tear it down.
right. I
So-
think it's the same guy that was in to, what is the name of that hotel? Courtyard? No, not Courtyard. Whatever the big
Marriott.
photo, he was involved in that, and then he's
Hilton.
also involved in this, but
But
separately.
that's immaterial who's
Yeah.
involved in what. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we put a stop on the demolition and we're not doing anything about it.
Well, no, she's gonna get to see about getting the state to intercede.
Right, so I mean, right now, the
Right.
next course of action is to see what SHPO says, and then, you know, at some point, we're gonna have another meeting before
Yeah.
our next meeting to finalize what, if we're gonna do anything, or we're just gonna just let it go. So I think the next course of action, Dana will just reach out to them, and within the next week, she could, if
Get
we have
back
to have
to
a
us.
special meeting,
Yeah.
Yep.
Does
Yeah,
that sound about right, Jim?
Yeah, I think that's fine. It's at least it's a positive action going forward.
right.
Right.
And, you know, we just don't want to get I'm afraid that we get the reputation of being, roadblocks that that are just a pain in the neck to developers. And the thing is that it's an economic, they're not building the hotels because they don't like historical buildings. I mean, they're building them because they think the economy of Norwalk needs it. And the truth is that these hotels are pretty full. There are a lot of people staying in these hotels. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're just trying to get some kind of balance between our historic district and all this building. The projects are going on.
Yeah, I don't argue that at all.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Okay, so anyway,
worthwhile effort.
there is a plan. Step one is Dana contacts the state. Step two, Dana gets back to us. We schedule another meeting before the next meeting.
Yeah.
And then we move on from there.
Fine. Sounds good.
Okay. So next, Dana?
There is one building I've been told of in Rowayton that is plaqued, that the owner, I did see it was sold for 1.2 billion. It's on 14 Penoyer, plaqued by Rowayton Historical Society. It doesn't show up on the Norwalk website as having been sold, but it shows up on Zillow as having been sold, and she wants to tear it down because I have an inkling of who bought it, but and people think it's going to happen pretty soon, but that's just
This is
something. in the-
14, did you say
Penoyer.
14 Penoyer Street?
Oh, at the top by Crest Road, yes, where the Peters lived.
Is that the White
And
House?
the thing
on the-
about this
on the
house is
corner?
what?
It's built in 1888. It's kind of unique, thick stick, and again, the person who bought it does like to build stuff, so we
You
hope.
said it's plaqued, right?
Yes, plaqued by Rowayton, and it's part of, I'm not sure if, I think we've been working on this other district for a while, whether this is part of a state district, I can't recall at the top of my mind, but yeah, because
But if it's plaqued, we already have an argument.
sort of, but that's not, it's not like the National Register, so that's kind of the problem.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those plaques were just based on old houses.
No, they are thoroughly researched, so as
So
far
who's
as when they're built.
requesting the demo? Demo delay.
I
You
will
are.
be. I'm actually gonna have Wendell at the Historical Society do it because Historical Society is the one that issues the plaque, so when that comes around,
I think Wendell's away for a while, isn't she?
oh, we can always find her with our little telephone. I saw her husband. So I guess that's it on new business, because there's always a lot of stuff happening in the demo department. And I guess we still need to get on.
Like, I mean, I'll just say this comment. I found it interesting that, you know, the person, the old house over by Marvin there,
Right.
the one that was torn down recently, they
Yeah.
made such a big stink about tearing it down and this and that. They already have a new McMansion on the property with a for sale sign on the property.
Oh, for sale.
They didn't even,
That's just
they didn't
rude.
even move, they didn't even move into it. They're just selling it as is
Oh.
already.
That is
But they
just
had that whole
rude.
song and dance about how they love the person who lived there and they're gonna have the, anyway, yeah, that's.
There's our for sale sign already on the property. I drove by the other day.
Oh, yeah, haven't been wanting to drive by there, but. Oh, well. I guess we gave them such a hard time, it spoiled their fun. Well, anyone else have any other things to add?
Now, those other
No.
demos, I didn't see any issues with those.
Yeah.
There's, tiny one on Melrose, which is
Yep.
probably gonna fill the lot. One away on Boughton that's gonna match the other one at the other end by. Why would I know the names of the streets?
5 Melrose was one of them.
Yeah, or Merlot's.
Oh, Merlot's, right.
No, it's spelled wrong, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, Boughton Street is kind of a plain vernacular. And the same builder built something up the street, which is, I guess, more utilitarian. But again, we can't save all these things. We don't have some kind of backing to have these things refurbished like other things in town. So at least we have some of those things on Elm Crest and Park Place.
Mhm.
But I think we might be at the number 9 is Eric's favorite part of the meeting.
Well, how can you miss me if I don't go away? I move to adjourn.
Does anyone second that? Oh, I think, yeah, Liz has her hand up. So,
Mark has his hand up. Yeah.
okay, everyone's waving frantically. So, well, get in touch with Shippo and anyone else I can get my hands on about 25 South Main and what we can do, because the clock is ticking. So, and now we will adjourn
Okay,
until we meet again.
Roy Rogers.
Have a good night.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good
good night,
night.
everybody.
Bye-bye.